Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Extreme Performance Series. I'm Todd Muirhead, and today I'm going to be talking with Sathya about SAP HANA stuff. So Sathya, go ahead and introduce yourself before we get into the big topic.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Todd. I'm Sathya. I work in SAP HANA space on vSAN in the performance engineering team. I work closely with vendors, server vendors, and also work with SAP to put together a hyper-converged solution, particularly on SAP HANA on vSAN.
Yeah, so when you say hyper-converged solution, you said at the end there, you basically mean you do a lot of work with SAP HANA on vSAN. Is that right?
Yeah, so basically HANA is, just to give a flavor, HANA is a high-performance in-memory database, and it handles both analytical and transactional workloads. So vSAN is a software-defined storage, and it's a key enabler of HCI architecture-based solution. And when you say HCI, it is a hyper-converged solution where you converge compute, storage, and network together. And so this is in a single unit, and you could grow as your requirements of workload grow. So it could be, it's one of the key enablers even for a cloud-based solution.
So SAP HANA is an extremely high-performance in-memory database. So
Right.
Running it on vSAN may be a surprise to some people, but not to you. You've been working on these SAP HANA solutions on vSAN for how long now?
Yeah, at least for 3 years now. And as you will, I have some slides to share, so I could just go through the recent activities that has happened, and even we have certified on an 8-socket. So I just want to share some of the slides on it. Again, to put together a HCI solution for SAP HANA, I mean, as we were mentioning, that there's a high-performance database, and it has some KPI requirements that need to be met. And it's basically a two-step process where from VMware vSAN, vSphere vCo, and make sure that the platform is certified to run SAP HANA. And also on top of it, the vendors make sure that their server also is certified to run SAP HANA. So for HCI in particular, there is a rigorous specific BOM that has to be certified. And if you go to the SAP website mentioned below, you will see that it is they have listed out all the certified and supported HANA hardware for specific, and even for HCI solutions, what are the different combinations. So I'll just walk you through all those scenarios.
So just real quick on the certification itself, what does that involve? It sounds like it's not just a functional test, but also a performance test as well.
Right. So it has several layers. Includes HANA has data and log partitions. So each of them have to meet a certain level of latencies and throughputs. So that you need to ensure that every HANA VM that is running on the HCI platform has met that KPI. So that is a test, and also we make sure that there is database integrity, is not compromised in any way. So we do the functional tests. So it's a combination of several tests that has to be finally approved by SAP, and after the approval, they list it out on their website. So the first 8-socket server that is certified on vSAN, and it has currently up to 6 terabytes, and it's running on vSAN 7.0 And if you click on this particular link, you will see more details of this particular HCI configuration. As you see, there are other vendors also who are certified.
But the new thing is that this is the first time that we've been able to certify an 8-socket server solution on vSAN for SAP HANA. So that's pretty awesome. I mean, 8 sockets opens up a huge number of possibilities in terms of size of these SAP HANA databases.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. In fact, this some of the end users want to take advantage of a larger server so that they could host a larger memory footprint HANA VMs. So it was in fact coming from the customer's side, the need to have it on an 8-socket server.
Okay, very interesting. So the certification for 8-socket was driven by customers' demand or request, basically.
One thing I just wanted to highlight is it has 448. So it's running on. So the rest of the configuration is very similar. You have disk groups and you have capacity disks and also the operating system and network. These are all standards. So just wanted to highlight 448 on an 8-socket server.
I think that people that may not be that familiar with SAP HANA solutions might be a little surprised, but I think that hundreds of cores is not uncommon for these larger SAP HANA instances that are out there. But anyway, so now it's enabled for vSAN, which is really cool. You can do all this with vSAN as well.
So what are the best practice recommendations for this? It's again in line with the recommendations. All these recommendations are in the best practices document. Essentially, if you have, as you see for each disk group, the caching cards are distributed across different CPUs. So that's one of the things I want to highlight. Other thing is you have your stripe size aligned, and so some of the tuning recommendations and best practices, all of them are outlined in the document.
So yeah, we're gonna provide a link below this video to this best practices document. So don't worry, everybody watching the video, don't worry about writing all this down. You can follow the link. But is it right that we determined all these settings through the certification test? I mean, how exactly did we figure out that these were the best settings to use?
Yeah, exactly. All this are part of our internal testing, and finally, of course, after the validation, we have crystallized what are the best recommendations and put this in the document. Okay, so coming to what are the recent highlights that we have seen apart from the 8-socket is we have also certified on Cooper Lake, which is on Fujitsu. We have 4-socket certification, and also we have done some testing on Stretch cluster, and it's tested up to 30 kilometers. So Stretch cluster, again, there are some caveats you will see in the best practices. Mainly, you could have potentially a RAID 1, which is going across the 2 sites. So you could have, virtually complete disaster recovery protection. If one of the sites goes down, you have basically one full set of data written on the other side. So that kind of thing is possible. Of course, you need to make sure your network latencies are within 1 milliseconds for the log writes. So that is all outlined again in the documentation.
Yeah, well, those are both really interesting. So the Stretch cluster, particularly, I'm impressed that we can do that all on the vSphere platform. It's very cool.
Yep, and of course, one more thing to highlight is you have some of these features that are to take advantage in vSAN, like setting IOP limits for VMDK partition. So we have some recommendations for data partitions. What is the best thing? Again, you need to make sure for that particular environment it's appropriate, but we have some recommendations put in all again in the documentation. And for specific vSAN up to vSAN 7.0 U2 on different processes, you have also SAP Note, which lists out all the supported configurations.
Okay, well, thanks. I mean, this is a great update on all the awesome SAP HANA stuff that we have going on vSAN. And I appreciate your time. And I would like to thank everybody for watching. And please check out the other Extreme Performance videos. Bye, everybody.